Dragonites. How is your week going? I realize we're only in the first day of it, but how are you doing? Are you guys doing all right? I hope so. If you're not doing all right, you know what to do. You need to go get yourself something nice because you deserve it, and that is reason enough. Okay. If you're having a fantastic week, honestly, that's great. Reward yourself. Let's get this show on the road. Okay, guys. So, this is our next to last WIP and chat for Purple Haze. And tonight, we are going to be doing our drawing for prize winners. Now, number one, thank you all of you for giving me your progress pics so that I could get the list ready. And you know, it's awesome because all but one of you gave me a progress pic, so that's very cool. So the people that are in the drawing are Cubic Z Painter, Sedona LeBlanc, Diamond Painting with Jack, Sugar Ray Crafts, Kathy Reynolds, Margie Grice, Trisha Richard, Roxanne Samuscott, Kayla Zuniga, Diamond Crafty Chef Diamond, Mike Weeks, Master of Jedi, True Vampire Crafts, and Robbie Zink. You are all in the drawing. Well, what does that mean for you? Well, that means at the end of this video, there'll be another short video where Jared is going to draw names of the two winners. We are having two winners. Now, I'm going to show you what's going to come your way if you are the winner. First of all, I have finished my canvas, so I'm going to be working on this one when we start doing the actual whipping and chatting part. So yeah, I'm almost to the halfway point on this one. I don't have a lot of time left. I got 8 days left in the week, or I'm sorry, in the month. So can I finish it? I don't know. I hope so. Okay, so I'll be working on her. So prizes. All right. So there are two small diamond paintings. They are different. So whoever is the first name drawn, you're going to let me know which of these you want. And then second drawn name will get the other one. So if you are the first one, the winner will be this beautiful diamond painting right here of this beautiful vase full of purple flowers, because you know, beautiful. It's even got some butterflies up there. So yeah, it's got 21 colors. It's a little 30 by 40. So yeah, to make sure you always have purple in your life. So this is the first choice. Second choice, also a 30 by 40, will be this beautiful purple dragon. Yes, this one has 25 colors. They're all beautiful. I love the big eyes on this one. It's so pretty. So yes. So you will have your choice, first picked winner of either the vase with the flowers and the butterflies or the purple dragon. Up to you. So that is the first item you'll be getting. Second item you're going to be getting is you're going to get a set of handmade greeting cards made by yours truly in the shade of purple, of course, because you know, purple. So they are not all the same. They are there are different ones. A couple of them have a blank on the inside, so you can put whatever you would like. The rest of them do have a saying appropriate with the occasion it's showing on the front. So not to worry, right? Okay, so there are two of those. Okay. So along with your diamond painting, you're each going to get a pen from Look Art with, yes, you guessed it, if I can get it out of the thingy here. You're going to get a purple squishy. You're going to get refills for this V-Look pen. So you got 3 refills of wax. You're also going to get regular purple wax, just in case you'd rather, you know, have regular wax. Little tweezers, metal tweezers. You're going to get a tray with a purple stopper already applied. And you're going to get a cover minder. That's this little dragon right here. So one of you is going to get a red-eyed dragon. The other one is going to get this little greenish blue-eyed dragon. So there you go. They've already been magneted, so you're all ready to go with the cover minders. Okay? So you're going to get that. And you're going to get a couple of little things from me that are surprises that I'm not going to be showing you. Okay? So that is what is coming your way. Now, you might be asking yourself, you usually use the picker wheel. Why not? Well, because I think that, there are multiple ways that you can do a random drawing, to keep it as random as possible. One way is to use a picking wheel, and one way is to use a draw the name out kind of way. So, I am trying to, go in a way that keeps things as random as possible. So I don't want to use the same exact system every time, because you never know. But don't worry, Jared is very trustworthy. So, you'll see him, and we can talk about it if there's any kind of concern. Okay. So, I do want to tell you though that starting with our dragon event, which is next month, that's going to be the last time that I actually mail prizes. We're going to go to a gift card system. I will occasionally have a prize that I'm going to be willing to mail. At that time, depending on what it is, I may or may not ask you to contribute if you win, so that you can help with the postage. In fact, what I'll probably do is when I draw the winners, if I draw the first winner, I'll give them an option of having a gift card or having the prize that I will tell you about ahead of time. If they choose the gift card, then the second winner will get the prize. So we'll do it that way. You'll have the option of having that or not, okay? So that's where we are, guys. Okay, I do want to just quickly go over, I've been trying to keep up with you guys, having you get signed up for everything, but I don't have everybody coming on the next couple of events. So let me just make sure. Cubic Z Painter, I need to let me know, because you're the one that I couldn't find the message. I thought you had left me a message about signing up for some of the other events, and I couldn't find it when I looked for it. So you're going to have to let me know if you want to be signed up for Zodiac or Fairies, Pixies, and Gnomes coming up for the rest of this year, and also for the Dragon event next month. Okay, so Zodiac, I have Missy Nelson, Sugar Ray Crafts, Sedona LeBlanc, Mike Weeks, Diamond Art Joy, Kathy Reynolds, Trisha Richard, and Crafty Chef Diamond. That's everybody in Zodiac. So if you wanted to sign up and you haven't, please do so that we have you on here. That's our August event. And then our Fairies, Pixies, and Gnomes, I only have 7 of you. I have Sedona, Sugar Ray Crafts, Kathy Reynolds, Margie Grice, Trisha Richard, Jedi Master, and Mike Weeks. So if you wanted to be on there, let me know. Now for next month for our Dragon event, and we're going to talk about that too in a minute. I have Sugar Ray Crafts, Kathy Reynolds, Margie Grice, Roxanne Samuscott, Missy Nelson, Diamond Art Joy, Jedi Master, and Mike Weeks. So you guys let me know if there's somebody that needs to be added on here, because I still didn't get you. I will get you. Okay. Now, the question that I posed to you in the last Whip and Chat, which is, what should we call our annual, what will become now our annual Dragon event? And you guys, per usual, you never ever disappoint, okay? So, possible names for our Dragon event: Drills and Dragons, Let Your Dragon Out, Annual Dragonite Dash, Smog's Conclave, and Here Be Dragons. We also had Year of the Dragon, but I'm not going to use that one because that's actually a legitimate thing, and it only comes around every 12 years. And I don't want somebody to think we're trying to cop off something from, you know, the Chinese zodiac to utilize as our own, because we don't need that headache, okay? Although that was a good one, but we're not going to use that. So there are 5 here. I think I can only put 4 in a poll for you guys to vote on. So I think what I'm going to do, I'll put Drills and Dragons, Let Your Dragon Out, Annual Dragonite Dash, and Here Be Dragons on a poll so you guys can vote which one you like the best. If you would like to have Smog's Conclave, you can write that in if you'd like in the comment section on the poll. Perfectly fine. So be expecting that poll to come out so we can guess the name that we're going to want to use, you know, because it's going to be important. Remember, it is going to be every year, in theory anyway, okay? So be prepared for that. And now tonight we are going to talk about a few more purple things because, you know, we are getting near the end. Today is the 22nd of June, so we're going to wrap up, and we are going to wrap up on the 30th because we need to start our dragon event. So we cannot dilly-dally. So what does that mean to you? That means I need your final picture, your final canvas on the 29th. I need your picture of however you are going to be considered finished for this event. So, and you don't have to do a full finish, but wherever you're going to stop for the end of June, I need that on the 29th. And I'm not going to be giving any leeway because we have to end on time, people. We got another event coming up back to back here and one right after that. So please, please, please get your pics to me, your final pics to me on the 29th, please, which is 1 week from today, so that I can compile a lickety-split final WIP parade. And we will do a wrap-up and on the 30th, and then by golly, we will roll right in on the 1st of July to our dragon event, okay? I'm going to try to finish this one, and then I've decided to do, how do they phrase it? Hold on. Hang on, guys. I'm going to be doing Jungle Dragon Lord from Dreamer Designs for the dragon event, because remember, that's the one I said was you guys. That's what the Dragonites were to me, the beautiful picture of that dragon. So I'm going to start that one on the 1st. So hopefully this one will be finished. Otherwise, I'll have to work on it congruently with the other one. And then probably the first week of July, I'm going to try to get a completion video out. So that's going to be what's on the agenda. Okay. Phew. I think that's all of our housekeeping. Pretty sure. Unless you guys know of something and you're probably sitting there going, oh God, she forgot again. Sorry. I'll try not to do that a lot, but that's all I can think of that I desperately needed to tell you. So one more time, if you want to sign up for the Dragonites annual dragon event coming up on July 1st, which is a week from tomorrow, you need to let me know ASAP that you would like to do that, okay? Let me know. Then from August 1st to August 31st, we are going to be doing Zodiac. Whether that's American Zodiac or Chinese Zodiac, either one is fine. If you truly don't have anything that is Zodiac related, first I'm going to tell you there's a lot of them out there. There's a bunch on the premium sites. There's a bunch on Temu. There's a bunch all over. So look there first. If you don't have one and you just don't want to buy one, you know, if you want to use just a celestial or planetary type diamond painting, I will allow you to do that. So have that in mind. and I will let you know by July 3rd. I'm sorry, not July 3rd. July 3rd, I need your start picks for your dragons. That's one thing. If you are carrying over Purple Haze Dragon into the Dragon event in July, talking to you, Roxanne, talking to a couple of you, then let me know that that's your plan, and I'll use that, your final pick, for your start pick also. So you just gotta let me know that that's what you're doing. So if you're already doing a dragon and that's purple and you want to continue it next month, let me know, and I will use your final pick for the final WIP parade and your start pick for the next event. Okay? Yeah, we're gonna move and shake a lot quicker next week, because in order to keep these things going, that's what needs to happen. If I don't get it, if I don't get your pick on the 29th of your final picture for Purple Haze, you're gonna miss out on being in the WIP parade. Sorry, can't do anything more than that. I need your start pick also right after that by July 1st, so that I can get the initial WIP parade going, so that when I do the first WIP and chat for the next event, then it'll be ready to show you. So that's my goal, guys. In order to do these events back to back like this, which I'm trying to not ever do again in the future, I gotta have a level of cooperation or I can't do it. Okay? If nobody sends it, I'm gonna have to tell you, hey, guess what? We're not doing a WIP parade for this one. So that's kind of where we are. Okay? So we are going to talk a little bit more about some purple stuff today, and as we, WIP and chat along. So I hope that everybody is going to have a good week. Let me know if you've got plans for 4th of July, because that would be cool to know. I know, really, it's going to be us chickens over here, so not a lot going on. We're going to talk about names. Purple-based names. I guess how they're calling it, let's see, they're calling it names related to the color purple. So that's going to be something we're going to talk about, boys and girls names. So we're also going to talk about flower names, gems and metal names, that kind of thing. And then we're going to talk about literally names for boys and girls. So hang in there. It's going to be interesting. Okay. So let me get some drills going here and get some stuff out of the way now that all your prizes are kind of closing in on me over here. And get your dragons over there also. Okay. All right. So okay. Also, hey, did everybody watch the beginnings of House of the Dragon, which started, the first episode just aired yesterday, actually, Father's Day? Anybody watch it? If so, what did you think? Let me know how you feel about it. So, I haven't actually watched it yet, but I'm planning to. I think I still have 1 or 2 episodes from last season to catch up on before I start the new season. But yeah, eventually I will be doing that. All right. If you have any questions about the housekeeping stuff, pictures, days, whatever, let me know. We're going to do that. And I'm going to have the dragon poll up no later than the end of this week. And then I'll let it run through the first week of July, and then we're going to have to pick what it's going to be called in the future. Right now, we're just calling it the Dragonites Annual Dragon Event, but you'll have to let me know by taking the poll what you want to call it. Okay. And again, thank you guys for coming up with such cool names. I liked it a lot. All right, is everybody ready for this? I'm going to get some drills out, and then we're going to start going like crazy, because I got to get some stuff finished around here. Okay. What color? I guess I'm going to start with D, and I'll work on the next one from there. So, okay, once I finish this panel, this will be the halfway point. So Gotta hustle, hustle. There's a lot of confetti in this one too, so it's, you know, I can only go just so fast because you have to, when you only have a few drills of each color, you just have to keep going. So that's what's going to be happening. Okay, so, oh, bear with me, guys. Gonna make it work. Okay, purple themed names include, what happened to my favorite, here it is. Okay. Oh, let's get that over, okay. Purple themed names include direct color terms, floral inspirations, gemstone monikers, and cultural references tied to royalty and violet hues. Popular choices range from classics like violet and iris to earthy floral shades like lavender and lilac. Could you imagine having twins and naming them lavender and lilac? Oh my God. Whether you're looking for something subtle or bold, these purple inspired names are sorted by their specific theme. Okay guys, are you ready for this? Flowers and plants. Floral names are among the most classic and elegant choices tied to purple. First one is violet, a timeless name representing the deep purple flower. Iris, a beautiful flower that is often a deep, vibrant purple. Lavender, soft, soothing, and directly tied to the light purple pastel shade. Lilac represents a light, sweet-smelling spring flower in shades of soft purple. Heather, a resilient plant that blooms with clusters of tiny purple flowers in the wild. Wisteria, a gorgeous climbing vine that blooms in cascading clusters of purple-blue flowers, which is very cool. I think if you were Wiccan, you should definitely be named Wisteria, for sure. Gems and metals. Amethyst, a striking purple gemstone. This is a popular choice for those wanting a unique mystical name. Lolite, Lolite, a lesser-known gemstone often called water sapphire that shifts between shades of violet and blue. Sounds pretty. Royal and deep tones. Purple is historically known as the color of royalty. Indigo, a deep, rich blue-purple pigment. Mauve, a muted, delicate purple-pink color. Tyrian, named after Tyrian purple, an incredibly rare and expensive ancient dye reserved for royalty. And remember why that's a rare dye, you guys? Because you have to get it from the mucus of certain snails. Yeah, so, yeah, not easy. Reign, R-E-I-G-N, a modern name chosen to nod to the color's regal status. International names meaning purple. Ione, which is I-O-N-E, a Greek name meaning violet flower. Murasakino, a traditional Japanese name that directly means purple. Bora, a Korean name that translates to purple. Sigal, S-I-G-A-L, a Hebrew name that means violet. And Morado, a Spanish and Portuguese word name meaning deep violet. So there you go. Those are all the international names surrounding purple. All right, names related to the color purple. Purple girl names. Berry, B-E-R-R-Y, Claret, Lilac, Violetta, and Willow. Purple boy names. Cassius, Cosmos, Covidar, and Tyrian. Purple flower names. Aster, Iris, Lolanthe, and Lavender. Purple gem names are Amethyst, Ione, Sapphire, and Tourmaline. Okay, you should choose a purple-inspired name that captures your daughter's spirit. These are for girls. Purple symbolizes creativity, royalty, dignity, sophistication, and other positive virtues across various cultures. So, if you want to raise a baby girl with any of those qualities, consider naming her after the rich and royal hue. Here are some beautiful and feminine names that signify purple. Amaranth, which is a Greek name meaning never fading or immortal. That's kind of pretty. Berry, B-E-R-R-Y, Greek name meaning bringer of victory. Betta, B-E-T-T-A, Hebrew name meaning God's oath and dedicated. Sharawite stems from the Russian word shari, meaning magic or charms. Claret, an English name referring to a wine that has a rich purple-red hue. Dottie, Greek name meaning gift of God. Evelet, English and American name meaning the promise of life. That's kind of pretty. Fig, Old French name meaning fig tree. Glory, Latin name meaning glory. Grape is North German name that refers to a maker of metal or earthenware vessels. Hadley, Old English name meaning heather meadow. Heather, English name meaning a heath or shrub. Heliotrope, Latin name meaning flower or faithfulness. Honesty, Latin name meaning to be truthful. Jacaranda, Spanish name meaning fragrant. Jam, American name meaning one who is sweet. Laurel, Latin name meaning laurel leaves, honor, fame, or spirit. Lila is an Arabic name meaning dark, night beauty, or born in the night. Lilac is Sanskrit name meaning the lilac blossom or blue-purple. Lupin, Latin name meaning wolf. Magenta, Italian name meaning purplish red color. Magnolia, a Latin name meaning a flower or flowering tree. Malva, Spanish name meaning armored chief. Mauve is a French name meaning violet, song thrush, or joy. Mazarine is a French name meaning a deep blue color. Passion is a Latin name meaning suffer. Peacock is Middle Eastern name meaning, you guessed it, peacock. Periwinkle, English name meaning blue-purple color. Plum, English and North German name meaning one who lives by a plum tree. Purple, English name for the color purple. Rebecca is a Hebrew name meaning to tie, bind, or enchantingly beautiful. Regina is a Latin name meaning queenly. Reign, R-E-I-G-N, Latin name meaning ruler. Rouge is a French name meaning red colored. Salvia is Latin and Italian name meaning whole or healthy. Star, it's an American, English, and Latin name meaning exactly a star. Starling is a Latin name meaning star. Makes me think of little birds because, you know, starlings. Yumiko, Japanese name meaning child of the plum blossom. Verbena, Latin name meaning holy plants. Veronica, meaning true image. Violetta is an Italian name meaning purple or flower. Willow is an English name meaning freedom or tree. And Yolanda, a Latin name meaning violet flower or modest. So that's all the girls' names. You guys, which one did you like the best? Would you name your kids a daughter one of these names? I think, if I remember correctly, Sugar Ray Crafts, you can correct me if I'm wrong because you did the canvas. But isn't Mazarine the lady's name of the canvas you did in Lucifer? Let me know. Anyway. And how sad is it that passion means suffer? Oh, did you guys know that? That's an unfortunate name for, you know, in Latin for such a pretty name. So there's that. Or if you had a pet, would you name a pet any of these names? You know, I think Lila's pretty. Magnolia is pretty too. I've known lots of Heathers. I even have heard of Hadley, a couple of those. I don't know if I would name anybody I loved Heliotrope. That might be kind of a stretch. Just saying. Or Periwinkle. Might be hard. But some of these are pretty. Certainly. So, yeah. Which one did you like? Okay, let's talk boys' names. I better put down a drill first, or it's going to look like I'm only chatting and I'm not whipping. Hold on. Sorry, didn't mean to be whistling or singing or humming Mary Tyler Moore, but you know, sometimes it's a catchy tune, it just sneaks out. What can I tell you? Yeah, I'm that old. I remember when that was on TV. What can I say? Yeah. And how about That Girl? Anybody old enough to remember That Girl with Marlo Thomas? Seems like all of us wanted to be her. And her boyfriend, Donald, who was kind of nerdy, but, you know, sweet. Yeah, anyway. Okay, boys' names that mean purple. Select an edgy, bold, purple-related name for your baby boy. Traditionally, purple signifies royalty and creativity, making it a great name inspiration for your baby boy. Here are some unique names that are connected to purple elements, tones, and symbolism. Remember, let me know your favorite. So the first one is I, Japanese name meaning indigo. Burgundy, French name meaning a shade of purple or dark red. Cassius, Latin name meaning vein, also the name of a purple pigment. Also the name of Muhammad Ali, because he was Cassius Clay before he was Muhammad Ali. Yes, young people, you'll have to look that up, but that's true. Okay. Cobalt, German name meaning goblin, also the chemical element used to make violet pigment. How about that? Cobalt's an interesting name. I suppose you could name your dog that and call him Kobe for short if you wanted to. I don't know. I don't know if I'd name a child that. That's kind of intense, but it might be cute for, you know, a little dog or a little cat. So, yeah. Okay. Comfrey, C-O-M-F-R-E-Y. Latin name meaning to join together. Corcoran, Irish name that comes from the word corsair meaning purple. Cosmos, Greek name meaning like's order, also the name of a purple flower. Dhumra, D-H-U-M-R-A, Indian name meaning smoke-colored or purple and gray. Finch, English name meaning small bird. Fuji, Japanese name meaning wisteria. It's also an island, I believe. Oh no, the island is Fiji. Maybe Fuji is the volcano. Anyway, it has another meaning. Harbin, German name meaning little warrior. Harbin like harbinger. I don't know. That one's kind of intense too. Indigo, Greek name meaning dark blue. Although, you know, that might be cute again if you had a little dog and you could call him Indy for short. J, Hebrew and English name meaning supplanter. Johannes, Hebrew name meaning God's grace. Kovadar, Sanskrit name meaning purple orchid tree. Maroon, Arabic name meaning a brown crimson color. Martin, English name meaning warrior or Mars. Merlin, oh, like my little dragon, my little Merlin. Celtic, Anglo-Saxon, and Welsh name meaning sea, falcon, and sea hill. That's my Merlin. Mulberry is a Latin name meaning mulberry tree. Pasque, P-A-S-Q-U-E, Cornish and Middle English name meaning Easter. Pfeiffer, German name meaning whistler or pipe player. Phlox, P-H-L-O-X, is Greek flower name that means flame. Phoenix, Greek name meaning mystical bird or dark red. Prince, Latin name meaning royal son. Provence, French name of a city famous for its lavender fields. Regem, R-E-G-E-M, biblical name meaning purple or that stones or is stoned. Royal, Old French name meaning regal one. Shion, S-H-I-O-N, Japanese name meaning aster, a type of light purple flower. Shiryu, Japanese name meaning purple dragon. Shurin, Persian name meaning strong or the heroic one. Tyrian, a purple dye used by ancient Phoenicians. Ube, U-B-E, German name meaning practice, also the name for purple yams. Let's see. And then, so those are the boys' names. Then we have names that are purple gem names. Get inspiration from gemstones for a beautiful sounding name. From amethyst to sugilite, purple crystals and gemstones are a great source of name inspiration. Here are some rare, precious, and sparkling names to consider. Alexandrite, Russian name meaning gemstone with special optical effects. Amethysta, Greek name meaning precious purple jewel. Amethyst, Greek name meaning not intoxicated or not drunken. Ametrine, a natural combination of amethyst and citrine. Chalcedony, a microcrystalline variety of quartz symbolizing calm and composure and peace. Charoite derives from the Russian word shari, meaning magic. Fluorite, Latin word meaning to flow. Garnet, Old French word for dark red. Ione, Greek name meaning purple jewel. Jacinta, Greek name meaning blue crystal or attractive. Jade, a Spanish name meaning stone of the loins. Kunzite comes from the Greek word for spondumine, meaning burnt to ashes. Porphyrio, Greek name meaning purple stone. Sapphire, Greek name meaning blue or precious stone. Slate, English name meaning a fine-grained rock. Spinel, Latin word meaning thorn or little thorn. Sugilite, a rare mineral with a pink to purple hue. Tanzanite, a unique blue-violet gemstone found exclusively in the Merillani Hills of northern Tanzania. Topaz, Greek name for a small island in the Red Sea. Topazios, now Zabergad. Tourmaline, which is Sinhalese name meaning mixed stones or stone of mixed colors. So those were kind of pretty, huh? I know. Unique names that mean purple. Honor another culture or celebrate your own with a unique name. Every culture has its own word for purple, and using one is a beautiful way to celebrate your family's heritage or pay respect to a culture you admire. Below you'll find direct translations for the color purple in different languages. Okay, people, you get ready to hear me totally destroy and murder all these names that are in different languages? By the way, just, full disclosure, there is no pronunciation key with these. They're literally just in a list. So, yeah, so it's partly not my fault, just so you know. When I start destroying the names, you'll know that I tried. It wasn't intentional. Okay. Ayame, A-Y-A-M-E, Japanese name meaning iris. Biborka, Hungarian name meaning purple. Bora, Korean name meaning purple. Elistren, Cornish name meaning iris. Fiala, Czech and Slavic name meaning violet. Fialova is a Czech name meaning violet. Kuzama, Arabic name meaning lavender. Morado, Spanish and Portuguese name meaning deep violet. Murasakino, Japanese name meaning purple. Prunella, French name meaning color of a plum. Sigal, Jewish name meaning violet or treasure. Sumair, Japanese name meaning violet or violet flower. Violaine, Latin name meaning purple. Viola, Scandinavian and Latin name meaning violet. Violetta, Italian name meaning purple or flower. Viola, Polish name meaning violet. Or Yolanthe, Greek name meaning purple flower, violet, or violet person. So there you go. What should you name a purple animal? Here are some purple inspired names for an animal, character, pet, or plushie. Eggplant or aubergine. Fandango, Fanta, grape, jelly, Kool-Aid, raisin, royalty, or taro. Oh gosh. So that's the fun we had today with names for purple people and or creatures. So what did you guys think? Did you find one that you thought was a good one for that? I'm just wondering. I don't know. Some of those were kind of cute. I kind of liked them, and some of them I was like, not really. Maybe not. I don't know. I just don't know. But some of them were okay. I think tourmaline is pretty. Did you guys happen to watch Carnival Row when it was on, it actually got interrupted, and so it didn't take off as well as it should have right when COVID started. It had just had its first season, and they were filming the second season, and they had to stop, and they didn't get to finish it for a couple years. But Carnival Row was a lot of fun, and they had a pixie character whose name was Tourmaline, which I thought was pretty. And the star of the show, the female lead's name was Vignette, she was also a pixie. So I thought those were great names when I watched it until it wasn't on the air and we were all stuck in our house with COVID. So anyway, what was your favorite? Those were quite some names. I think those are some, there are some there I would just have to say nay. I can't possibly use them. But you know, there were also some really cute ones. So, you know, there's been a lot of girls who've been named after flowers. That has died off. It used to be much more popular than it is now. So for whatever reason, it's just not happening, you know, like it used to. But that used to be a very popular thing to name girls after flowers and jewelry. I mean, how many pearls do you know, right? And lots of iris, lots of daisy. I mean, my little dragon, one of my dragons is named Ruby. I had a great aunt Ruby. Well, I guess my great aunt Ruby. That was my grandfather's sister. So, yeah, she was an interesting little bee too. She was the only girl. There were 4 kids. All the rest were boys. And her mom died early. Someday I'll explain all that to you, but not today. And so she, you know, ended up, she was the third out of 4 kids born. She ended up being her mom's replacement. She had to do all the cooking, all the cleaning for all the boys. All the boys tried to find work because their dad had a real problem with alcohol, and yeah, it was very sad. So, yeah, but she was neat. She never lost her spunk. I thought Ruby was pretty cool. She intimidated my grandmother something fierce. She just really did. And I don't know if it's because, you know, she had the love of my grandfather first. And so, you know, and all the boys protected her because she was the only girl. But, oh, she absolutely intimidated my grandmother to no end. So that was interesting. But anyway, she was also a Ruby. Yeah, I think magenta is a pretty color. I don't know if I would name somebody. I might name somebody that. Did you guys watch the Rocky Horror Picture Show as a teenager? Were you at the theater at midnight doing all of the cat calls for the show? I was, probably my sophomore and junior year. I used to go, and trying to get my parents to let me go any place at midnight was something else. I had to go with a group. I couldn't go by myself, and I had to come straight home. But yeah, we used to go. Well, Riff Raff, who's the butler in the Rocky Horror Picture Show, his sister's name is Magenta. She's the maid. So there are people that use that name, let's face it. So, yeah. I know. I just put a bunch of nostalgia on you. All you Rockyites that used to go to the Rocky Horror Picture Show are going, oh my God, the memories. Yes. Yes, indeed. I think that was the first full audience participation film to really be a cult classic. I mean, and it's so funny because it's one of those, you know, like the original Star Trek. It wasn't very popular when it first came out into prime time, but by God, you couldn't get more popular in, you know, reruns. Like, you know, it's kind of crazy how that works, but that's what happened. So, any of you guys Trekkers out there? And I'm talking the original series. I know there's a bunch of you out there for Next Generation, but I'm talking about the original. Kirk, Spock, McCoy, Scotty, Sulu, Chekhov, the OG Star Trek. I loved it. My mother loved it. Even my dad thought it was okay. We used to watch it when it came on during the primetime lineup. You know, it used to be, and then it was on in reruns, it came on, I think, like at 6 o'clock from the 6 to 7 hour. And then it was MASH from 7 to 8. And then if it was the weekend at 8 o'clock was The Wonderful World of Disney. Do you guys remember all these things? Am I the only one that's ancient? Come on, you guys had to remember some of this. And now I just feel really old. But yes. And oh, that, yeah, it was, because right before that was Gilligan's Island and the Brady Bunch. That was, I think, the 6 to 7 hour. No, 5 to 6 hour. So, and I used to watch a lot of TV after school because I was a latchkey kid. So I'd come home 3:30, 3:45. I'd walk in the door because I lived over a mile from school, and I walked. So I'd come in. I'd call my mother to let her know I made it home, because she made it very clear if I forgot to call her, then she was calling the police 5 minutes after I was supposed to be home. So I did. I went straight home and I called her and I said, okay, I'm home. And I would put my key, which was around my neck with a yarn ribbon tie. You girls remember ribbons they made out of yarn when we were kids? I mean, everything was made out of yarn, but yeah. It was thick too. I mean, if it got caught on something, you just plain strangled, because nothing could break that stuff ever. So, yeah, I'd wear that. And then in the late 70s, it got a little later, they had those little Velcro little key pockets you could put on your shoe and tie them onto your shoelace above the tongue of the shoe. Then I had that for a couple years, so I didn't have to have it constantly around my neck, which was good. But, yeah, I was a latchkey kid from 7 years old all the way through. And I look at my kids and I think, what the heck? Like, there was no conceivable way I would have ever let my kids do that, try to get themselves to and from school, make their own lunch, get themselves dressed, do all their chores, do the laundry while I was working. Like, it just wouldn't, you know, it would not have been a thing. And yet I did it. I did it without thinking about it, because what choice did I have? And it changes, you know, the way you do things. So, you know, like, I made sure that if somebody was mad at me or calling me out, as we used to say, or following me home, that first of all, I knew as a 7-year-old, 7 and 8 years old, I remember making sure I walked home a different way each time, because my parents wanted me to take the same way so that they would know where I was and about where I should be in the route if for some reason I didn't show up. But I knew, because stranger danger had become a thing recently, like it was a new thing when we were kids. And so, and McGruff, the crime dog, who always said, walk a different way, never walk the same way twice, 2 days in a row. And I remember that just sticking in my head so much, because I thought, because there was nobody to help me. I mean, I was by myself. I walked with my friends, but they all lived way closer to the school than I did, because my house, well, the house next door to us was the cutoff. So on the other side of our neighbor was a different school. So I was about as far away as you could get and still go to that school. So it was a long way on my little legs. And you had to, there was like a main street, 2 main street intersections that the school sat on just off the corner of the street. So on the long street that you had to take, there were a bunch of little offshoot streets, and all my friends lived on one of those little offshoot streets, and I was clear to the other end and up another half mile. So, you know, they got home and were putting their stuff down, starting to watch TV. I was still walking. And I knew if somebody gave me a problem, I was on my own. Nobody was coming to help me. So I had to figure it out. And so I did. So I walked a different way every day. I made sure nobody was following me. I made sure nobody was behind me when I went to open the house. And I would look around, and I'd look around, and I'd look around, and I would put my key in, unlock the door, and run in real fast and lock it behind me. Because I thought, just in case I didn't see somebody. So that was literally what I did. And, you know, it seemed to work for the most part. I mean, it had its moments, you know, and I would walk over. As soon as I got in the house, my heart pounding, I would put down my stuff. I'd run to the bathroom, and I would Or I'd run to the phone first and call my mom and go, I'm home, I have to go to the bathroom, okay, bye. And then I would run to the bathroom, take care of that, and then I would come out and I would go, okay, snack first. So I would have a snack and I would watch TV for an hour, because I was allowed an hour. Now, nobody was there to monitor me, but that's, you know, I was a responsible kid. That's what I was taught to do, and that's what I did. So I would pick my show that I wanted to watch for the hour, which was Spider-Man usually. And I mean the good OG Spider-Man, not like the funky ones they have now. But do you guys remember Spider-Man? I mean, you can hear the theme song, can't you? Spider-Man, Spider-Man, does whatever a spider can. Spins a web any size. Catches thieves just like flies. Watch out, here comes the Spider-Man. Every day. So Spider-Man, there were 2 30-minute shows. So I knew at the end of Spider-Man, it was time to get my homework out. I could still watch TV, but I had to be actively working on my homework. And I think of my kids who, there'd be no way, if I hadn't been around to monitor them, they would have done nothing. They would have waited till 5 minutes before I got home and then hurried up and did their chores and gotten their workout going. Yeah, we're still working on homework, Mom. Sure you are. But no, I was 100%. If you told me to do something, I did it, because that's what a little overachieving girl does when nobody's around to monitor. Kind of sad, right? I know. But I did it, and I was 100% devoted. Now, did I ever have problems? Yeah. There was a guy on the corner selling drugs that I had to walk past once. And, you know, remember, I'm 7, right? And I saw him at the corner with another guy who was, you know, these guys were double my height. They were probably early 20s, but to me they were enormous, because I was not a huge kid. And so I thought, oh, this is not going to be good. So just before the crosswalk, and I was told I always had to go in the crosswalk. I don't know why. I guess so if somebody ran over me, they could sue. I don't know. But I did. I walked in the little crosswalk, but he was standing there with this other guy who was the other part of the transaction. So I decided, nope, I'm not going to go to the crosswalk. I'm going to cross, 20 feet before the crosswalk, so I could just get to the other side of the street and not have to engage with him. Well, I don't know if it was my body language or the look on my face or what, but next thing I know, this guy's following me. And I said, leave me alone, because that's what I was told to say. And then he's like, oh, come on, there's probably something here you want. Come on. We can be friends. Come on now. And I thought, ugh. And I was so mad. But my brother, who was still living at home, but he drove himself to high school, because we moved and he was a sophomore, or just about to be a sophomore. And he wanted to finish school where we lived before. So he had an old, I had to laugh. My parents got him an old Studebaker. That was his car, so that was really funny. So he was gone a lot of the day, because it was at least 90 minutes for him to get there and at least that to get back. So I was literally by myself the entire time. And I mean, this guy freaked me out. He looked as scary as, he should for what he was doing. And so I kept saying, leave me alone, go away, leave me alone, I don't want to talk to you. He followed me all the way toward my house. So the lady that lived next door to me was raising her granddaughter. Now her granddaughter went to the other school, because remember, that was the cutoff. But I knew her, and so I went past my house and I ran up to her door and I knocked really hard, and she opened the door. She goes, what is it, Wendy? And I said, he won't leave me alone and he won't shut up. And I was so mad. She goes, you come on in here. So she took me into her house, and she goes, get your mom on the phone. And he tried to give her lip service. Oh, let me tell you what, don't give lip service to an old lady, because she will not take your crap. So she came in the house and took me into the house. She gave him another tongue lashing. I went over to the phone, bordering hysteria. I called my mother at work, told her what happened. And she said, whoa, 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 where are you now? And I said, I'm at my friend Michelle's house. And she said, is her grandma home? I said, yeah. She said, let me talk to her. Okay. So by now she had come in after tongue lashing the guy. And she talked to my mother, and they discussed it. And I thought, oh man, they're going to make me go to the other school so I can walk home with Michelle. That was the first thing I was thinking. And my mother told me years later they did discuss that, but my mother knew that I wanted to stay at the school that my friends were at. So she's like, yeah, I don't think about that. But she said, you know, if somebody is giving her a problem, is it okay for her to come to your house? And she said, oh, of course. I mean, as long as I'm home, of course, you know, she can come here. So that was my safe house. Now, they didn't call them that for another decade or so after that, but that's what she was. If I needed help or somebody was giving me a problem, I could always go to her house, and she made sure that I was safe until my parents got home. And I tried to go home because I liked being alone by that point. It was great that I could do whatever I wanted to. And I knew how to, you know, that I could have a whole hour to myself when I got home, and then I knew how to start my chores and get my laundry going. Yes, I did my own laundry from the time I was 7 years old. I can remember barely on my tiptoes just being able to reach the washing machine starter so I could just, it took me a few tries to turn it all the way, and then I could just reach it to pull it out and start the machine. Because again, if I wanted clean clothes to wear to school, I had to do my own laundry. That's part of the deal. And I remember being so appalled when my boyfriend, when I was 16, the first time I met his family, and he tried so hard to keep me from meeting his family, which I thought was weird. I didn't understand it till I met them, and then I understood it fully. We walk in, and his mother washed and dried his clothes and folded them and put them on his bed to put away. And I thought, are you kidding me? He was 17 and I was 16. And I thought, there is no way. I'd been doing my own clothes forever by that point. And he basically said, yeah, she doesn't want us to touch her machine because, yeah, she doesn't want us to break it or anything. And I thought, wow. So instead of teaching you how to do it the right way, she just did it for you. And he had 2 brothers. So, like, really? Between her husband and her kids, she was doing the laundry for 4 men who were perfectly capable of doing their own laundry. And I thought, oh, that's ridiculous. So I thought, no, that's never going to be me. And it wasn't. Because I thought, oh, if you're going to yell at me about where your favorite pair of clothes are for something that you want after I washed, dried, and folded it, oh, heck no. Because you'd be in orbit before you found them. Yeah, no. I decided right then and there, nope, you're going to do your own laundry, and then you'll know where everything is. And all of my kids do their own laundry. Jared does his own laundry to this day. As early as possible, they took it on themselves, because laundry is one of those things you're never, ever caught up on. It's like dishes. There's always laundry and there's always dishes, and I hated every minute of it because I was never done. And I didn't really want other people doing my laundry because I, didn't want them to ruin any of my clothes, because clothes are expensive, especially in my size. I was like, no, we're not doing that. So, but yep, at 7 years old, man, washing, drying, hanging up, putting away. And I had to put a chair. I had to bring a chair from the kitchen into my bedroom to stand on it to hang up my clothes, even then, because it was too high for me. I couldn't reach the bar in the closet. So, yeah. That's why when I see college students incapable of doing laundry, oh my God, I can't even. I really can't even. There's no way I could even. And I thought, nope, my kids are not going to be one of those kids. They all knew. Now, did they ruin some clothes along the way? They sure did. But they know how now, and it's a good thing because they both do laundry now. They each have 2 kids and a full-time job, and my oldest son is a single dad, so he's got lots of laundry to do. And my middle son is married, but he's the sole support. And he does laundry because they got 2 kids, and one of them is 2, and she's unbelievably into everything. So, they have to change her clothes 3 or 4 times a day. So there's lots of laundry in their lives. So thank God they know how to do it. There you go. And I thought, oh, if my grandkids come to spend some time with me over the summer one of these days, they're going to learn how to do laundry too, whether their parents like it or not. So there you go. But yep, that was me. One time I came home, I opened the door, and we had been robbed. And again, bordering hysteria, I opened the door, I looked around, I could see that everything was thrown around, and I didn't know if whoever did that was still there or what. I closed the door, I opened it, I looked around, I closed it back up, I went next door again to my friend's grandma's house, and I said, we've been robbed. We've been robbed. And she goes, wait a minute. What do you mean you've been robbed? I said, there's stuff everywhere. And there really was. I mean, they just pulled drawers out and just dumped them and left them. I mean, it was, oh, it looked like a nightmare happened in there. So, again, she had me call my mom. My mom asked me if I was okay. Yeah, I'm fine. And I think I was almost 8. I want to say this was, the new school year started in September. And I was a second or getting ready, or just started 3rd grade. It was like October when this happened. And I thought, oh. And so I told her what had happened and that there was stuff all over the floor. And she said, you just stay over there till we get home. We're going to call the police, so don't get scared. They're going to come and see what's going on and make a report. And I said, okay. But again, hysteria, you know, I wasn't very old. It was a lot to deal with by myself. So then another time, somebody had stolen my bike and I was so upset. It was a Spider, S-P-Y-D-E-R. It was great. It was a 3-speed Spider, had a banana seat, and it had really cool handlebars, and it was magenta, and I loved it. And one day I came home and it was gone, and I thought, what the heck? I had parked it in the front on our porch because I had run in to, I don't know, talk to my parents or do something. It was a Saturday. And I came out, it was gone. And oh, I was crushed because that was my only transportation. And if I wanted to go to a friend's house and be able to get home quickly, my bike was the only way to do it. And oh, I was so upset when I got home and it was just gone. I was like, oh, and I mean, no trace of it anywhere. Oh, I was heartbroken. I cried for days. And then one day I walked home. I came in, put my stuff down. I was making a peanut butter and jelly sandwich because I knew how to do that because I wasn't allowed to use the stove when they weren't home. So it had to be stuff I could make. By the time I was in middle school, I was making mac and cheese. But until then, it was mostly bread and lunch meat products. So, and sometimes if I ran out of time in the morning, I would cheat and I wouldn't bring a lunch to school. So by the time I got home, I was starving. So I was making a sandwich and there's a knock at the door. And I jumped because we had had discussions. They didn't want me to answer the door when they weren't home. But then when they were home, they'd go, hey, will somebody answer the door? I'm busy. So, it didn't make sense to me. Like, why is it I can only answer the door sometimes? Like, it didn't, because I was a kid and it didn't make sense. I didn't understand the safety factor, right? So I snuck over and I looked, and there's a lady on the porch holding her son's ear and knocking on the door hard, and the kid was crying. I thought, what the heck? And I opened the door. When I opened the door, I could see my bike was parked next to the door. And I looked at it and I was in such disbelief. She said, is that your bike? And I jumped because she was obviously unhappy and I didn't know her. And she scared me. And I said, yes. And she said, did you loan it to him? And I looked at the kid and I felt badly. And I said, no, somebody stole it and I didn't know where it was. And I started to cry because I knew the kid was in trouble. I was upset because I got my bike back, but it was clearly at his expense. And so I was like, oh, no. And she's like, that's what I thought. She said, he said that you let him borrow it. I said, no, I didn't know where it went. I came out and it was gone. And I've been crying about it because I missed it. It's my only bike. I mean, you know how kids are. And she goes, that's it. You're going home. And she pulled that kid's ear almost off. I swear to God. I thought, there's no way. That ear's going to come off any minute. Because, she had a grip. And he was on his tiptoes. And I thought, oh, sorry, kid, but you stole my bike. Why did you do that? So, yeah, that was my first initiation into kids will steal from you. Because up until then, I didn't really experience that. I had no idea that kids could be that dirty and underhanded. It just wasn't part of my brain. And then I realized, wow. So that was another time. All this is happening. My parents aren't home. I'm home alone. No. So I decided, fairly early in life, if I ever have kids, nope, they're not going to come home alone from school. And they didn't. I worked 6 a.m. to 2:30 so I could pick them up every day. And oh, I don't think I've ever been so tired. I don't even remember most of that time, because you have to be at work at 6. That means you have to get up at 4:45. And we had a dress code, so I had to get up, put on my nylons, and pitch black. Yeah, it was not good. But I'll be darned if any of them ever came home to an empty house. Nope, nope, nope. So, I mean, did I take a hit career-wise? Yeah, I did. It's okay. I wasn't living to work. I was just working so I could live when I wasn't at work. That was my whole goal. So, it was okay. But, yep, all 3 of them, man. I had to fight with my employer. I told my boss, fortunately it was a woman, and I told her after my ex-husband and I had been a year, well, actually it was probably closer to 18 months of infertility and doing everything we could think of to try to have a baby, and it wasn't happening. And you know, I wasn't overly surprised, because remember, I'd had kidney failure at 19 and nearly died. So I had had trauma. Like, this wasn't new to me, but it was very frustrating and sad to me that after everything I had been through and managing to claim my life and take it back from the brink, and now I just wanted to be a mom and I couldn't. Like, that was a whole awful thing for me. So I told her we had decided to try adoption. So I told my boss, hey, I want you to know that, you know, we're signing up to adopt. But I said, she goes, oh, how nice. I said, well, you know, and she goes, I'm really happy for you. I said, oh, thank you. And I said, here's the thing. I don't know what I'm supposed to do protocol-wise, because, you know, if you're going to take maternity leave, you're supposed to tell them, you know, as soon as you start your 3rd trimester, so that they know how long you're going to be there. And then you know how long you can take for your leave, and then everybody puts the date down. Everybody's happy. It goes smooth as silk, right? Well, when you adopt a child, you might have very little notice, like, you know, hours. So it's like you're there Thursday and you walk in Friday and go, hi, I'm leaving for 3 months. Yeah, they don't like that. And I knew that they didn't like that. And so I said, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I mean, she goes, well, what do you mean? I said, well, when do I put in for maternity leave? And she said, oh, well, when do you think you'll be? I said, I have no way of knowing. None whatsoever. I mean, I imagine I will whenever somebody has a child and puts it up for adoption. When that will be is not under my control. I have no idea. So that was a whole big trauma. They didn't want to let me go. Then they found out from their lawyer at the company that they had to let me go, that adoptive parents were entitled to the same rights as biological parents. Although I guess a lot of them didn't claim them. I don't know, but I sure was about to. So that whole thing went on. But yeah, so I worked there. Well, I had been there 2 years before we made the decision. They were so horrible about it, I decided, to heck with this. I'm getting another job. So I did. Fortunately, it was the 80s and everybody could work. There were plenty of jobs. Technology was new. Computers were new. There were lots of people hiring for all kinds of different work. So I thought, okay, good. So I had taken a medical terminology class and a medical transcription class. So I was now, in my head, capable of working in the front or back office of a doctor's. So I actually went to work for a psychiatrist and a therapist. And I went in for the interview, and I told them what my plan was, and that I didn't know when it was going to happen. But, you know, I wasn't changing my plan. I just wanted, they said, oh, yeah, okay, no problem. They were thinking it was going to be a long time. Yeah, no. I was only 4 months into being with the Open Adoption Agency, which was pioneering back then. This was 1989. And so I, just told them, hey, I started with them in April, and my oldest son was born in August of the same year. So I worked for them 4 months, and then I'm like, hey, guess what? I'm gonna go, sign up for, headed out for maternity leave. And they went, no, you can't. What are we gonna do? Because we literally had less than a week notice. A birth mother picked us and said, hey, by the way, I just want you to know that, I really want to go with you guys, but if I'm going to have to fly, I have to do it soon because I'm 9 months pregnant, and I have to tell them I'm only 7 months because they won't let me fly. I thought, oh no. So that whole thing started there too. So all of this was landing at the same time. And I'm like, how am I going to pull this one off? This is going to be a nice challenge. So they asked me to stay late. I said, fine. We had a meeting. She and her partner, who was, she was a psychiatrist and their partner was a therapist. They were business partners, but, in the same building, but it was really the psychiatrist's business, and she signed on later. And so she said to me, they both said, well, what are we going to do about the office, and how are we going to do this, and what are we going to do, and who's going to do the deposits? Like 2 grown women couldn't do their own deposits. Okay. I said, okay, I'll tell you what. Because my plan had been to take, I think they were only offering short-term disability then to cover you if you were out on maternity leave. You got to go way back now. Remember, we're in 1989. It's different. So my plan was to do that, and I knew it wouldn't kick in, and it was going to be a long wait, and we were going to be without money, but I wasn't going to say no to a child. Are you kidding? So I finally said, okay, listen, if you let me work at home, I will make sure your books are done, your deposits are done, and when I pick up and drop off that week's payroll and payables, I will also file your charts. So you're only going to have to look through them once a week, and after that they'll be filed in order where I always put them. And I said, however, you're going to have to pay me like I was here. And they looked at each other and they said, deal. Because they're like, hey, we don't have to hire anybody. And it was kind of interesting because I took 2 months off, and then I had to find daycare for my son, which almost broke me. But as soon as I got back, 2 months after that, one of them got pregnant, and then 3 months after she got pregnant, the other one got pregnant. I'm like, oh my gosh, really? And they were talking about being gone all this time, and I looked at them like, really? They didn't take very long. I think they took like 6 weeks, but, one at a time. But I was at my desk like I was supposed to be, because I was 5 minutes from my house. I could work part-time and still get everything done, be home with my child in the afternoon, and still see him for some of his waking days. Because, he was still a baby. He was only a couple months old, and I was so distraught at having to leave him after working so hard to get him. I was crazy. But, it's the reality of life, right? If I wanted to feed him, then my husband and I both had to work. So that's what we did. But, it's isn't life funny? I know. And I know you guys have stories equally as interesting and equally as exhausting, because, those of you that have run the gambit, you have to feed kids. It comes with the deal, okay? So you have to feed them, you have to clothe them, you have to give them a place to live. You got to give them a bed to sleep in, which means chances are you had to work. So that's how things worked. I'm so glad that things are better now. I mean, more places are offering better paid leave. And it's no longer a question. I mean, it doesn't matter now if somebody adopts or has a child. They don't even flinch when you go in and say, hi, I've adopted a child and I'm about to take maternity leave. And they go, oh, congratulations, see you in 3 months. It just wasn't like that then. I wish it had been. I'm sure if I had had a male boss, I might not have been able to leave at all. Like, it would have been just, would have been horrible. And my parents were both still working, so it's not even like I could leave them with a family member. Like, I had to do the footwork to try to figure out what the heck I was going to do, and nobody was safe enough. Because remember, I was a latchkey kid, so I grew up not trusting anybody because I was taught not to, that somebody could hurt me. And so therefore I didn't trust anyone. And then as I got older, my mother tried to say, okay, well, you're old enough now, you understand who to approach, who not to approach, what questions not to answer. If somebody pulls up when you're walking home, you don't get near the car. Like, all of that. Well, too late. By then I was conditioned and programmed that nobody was safe as far as I was concerned. You had to prove it. And that part stuck, which is kind of what I was getting at with telling you guys all this, is that, be careful what you tune your kids into, because some of that stuff stays. And it's really interesting now being a grandmother and watching my sons be fathers. Boy, you really find out what you did right and what you really screwed up on by watching your children parent. It's really something else. Those of you who are grandparents, you will understand what I mean. But, kids need their grandparents. So, don't ever withhold them, because those are important relationships. And if your kid doesn't get to experience that, you're doing something harmful to them knowingly. So don't do that. Now, you might have parents where you have to keep them around just short spurts because they get on your nerves, or maybe they have issues that make it hard for you to trust them with your child. Okay, maybe you have to do limited, and then you can teach your kid, hey, this is what happened, this is why we don't do this kind of thing, because remember how grandma was? Yeah, that's why we don't do that. Or yeah, grandpa, didn't know that there were other uses for a belt, but it shouldn't be to smack your kid. Like, sometimes you have to use that time and interact with them in a different kind of way. But even that's okay, because that's valuable knowledge you're giving them anyway. And you might be saving them from a life you don't want them to have by just being upfront and saying, look, But also remember, your parents are not going to be the same as grandparents that they were as parents. You're going to be surprised, because you're going to go, there's no way that she would have killed me for that, and now she's giving you cookies. What the heck? Yeah, exactly. But just remember that your parents are getting to relive you at a time in their life where they have actual time. They can sit and play the game. They can sit and listen. They can read the book. They can have conversations with their grandchildren, things that they wanted to do with you but didn't have the time. They were too busy working and raising you. So now they get to have that time with your kids. And anything that they felt badly about, they're going to overcompensate with your kids and treat them ever so good. And you're going to be so mad because you're like, wait a minute, how come I would have gotten clobbered and they're not getting clobbered? Well, because they get to spoil them. It's your job to raise them. So now they can just enjoy them, make them be totally bratty, give them a full sugar high, and then throw them back at you. Yeah, and you have to put them to bed, because that's what being a grandparent is, right? So, yep, just remember, those are very important relationships for lots and lots of reasons. So, yeah, when your parents still get on your nerves, they're not going to get on your child's nerves. Your child's going to be excited to see them and enjoy them and love them and, get to experience all the things you wish they had done with you. But don't worry, because someday your kids are going to have kids, and then you get to do all the fun part too. So that's my one bit of wisdom, because, you don't get a chance to repeat some things, right? As far as we know, we're going to do this go around thing one time with these same groups of people. So maximize it. And if God forbid anything happens to you, they're going to need those people, your parents, to help them. So yeah, if you're angry, try to resolve it. If you can't resolve it and you feel like you still have to be angry, even, legitimately so, and maybe you only want to let your parents be around them for a couple hours a week because of how horrible they were, okay, do that. Just don't deny them access to their grandparents, because that kind of harm you don't get to redo. There's no do-overs with that. So yeah, all of these young adults who are ghosting their parents. I just, and maybe it's legitimate, probably is, but you know, their kids are going to miss out on a relationship that could be very valuable to them. So I guess what it boils down to is, how many people do you think is too many to love your child? 5, 10, 20, 100? I hope everybody in the world loves my kid. That's what I want them to. That's what I want for them. I want them to be loved and supported and cared about. And, you know, does that mean I have to deal with the fact that sometimes they hang out with their birth families? Yeah, I do. Am I always happy about that? Not always. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. Did I have to tell his birth mother, don't talk to my son like that? Yes, I have done that. I have said those words. And I would say them again if need be. Yeah, let's not, you know, screw up what's true here, okay? My children are my children. I earned the title mother to them. So, I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. They still think they're incubators. They do. And that's an important thing too. I would never have had a chance to be your mom if she had done something else other than give birth to you and give you up. So never forget that. But that also means you don't owe her anything except to be respectful when you speak to her. That's it. Other than that, you don't owe anybody anything. So they know that. One of them has a really good relationship with his biological sister that I think is, you know, important for both of them. And so I think that's really nice. The other one can only take his biological mother in spurts because she's a lot. She is a lot. I mean, I've dealt with her too. So, you know, he kind of takes it in stride, you know. He's like, I'm just glad I don't, his actual words, because I said, how'd it go? Because I knew that things were a little bit tense. For one thing, and I would never say this to him, he'd get mad, but for one thing, they're too much alike. So there's that. So I said, hey, how'd it go? He goes, Mom, I'm so glad that I don't need that person to be a mother to me. You know, and I said, well, what do you mean? And he said, I have a mom, so I don't need that from her, because I don't think I would have wanted her to be my mom. So I'm really thankful that that's, you know, if she wants to be a friend, then that's okay. But I told her that I have parents, and I didn't require that from her, that we would have to have some other kind of relationship, and that, you know. And I said, oh, well, okay. Well, what did she say? He said, well, she's like, she's not sure she can do that. I said, oh, well, okay, well, what are you going to do? And he goes, I'm going to let her figure it out. So I said, okay. Are you coming home for Christmas? He goes, yeah, I'm trying. Okay, good. So, yeah, there's no question that the children know who their parents are. We adults tend to screw it up, okay? Especially those of us that have adopted children. Even if we've adopted a family member's child, we fight with that sense of belonging, you know, the entitlement of it. Like, you know, I didn't give birth to this child. Am I still entitled to be this child's parent? Yes, you absolutely are. The only time it's, you know, people mess it up is if they feel inadequate or they feel insecure about it, and so they don't bond all the way with the child. That's not, and the child says things like, I always felt different, or I never really felt like part of the family. Yeah, that wasn't on them. That was the way the parents or grandparents or families reacted, which is such a shame, because the kid never would have ever even thought anything different. So the fact that you make it hard on them because you're insecure is just awful. But I will also tell you that society and the people in charge of adoption make it that way. They make you feel like you're less than. And I don't know why. I don't know if it's because they want to feel like more than. I don't know. But they make you feel like, for some reason, you're not entitled to this child. And if you are entitled to this child, you better love everything about them. Even if they hold a knife on you, you better love them. Which makes it very hard to be an adoptive parent. We all need a medal. I'm just going to say that outright. But it's never hard for the kids. If you ask my kids who their mother is, they're not even going to hesitate. They will tell you who their mother is. If you ask them, well, who's your birth mom? They'll tell you. Because I never felt it should be a secret. Because secrets in that kind of a situation signify that there should be shame involved. And there shouldn't be any shame involved. I mean, flat out. She had a child she couldn't take care of. She selected some parents for it, and you got to have a good life. Why is that shameful? We need to not look at it shamefully anymore, ever, because that's BS. I got to call BS on that. So, yeah, that's how it is. So my kids always knew. It was never a question. It was never hard, and it was never focused on. Period. They still don't focus on it because they don't think it's relevant to their life. Okay, I didn't make that decision for them. They did. I just let them know that I was okay with it, however they wanted to do it. If they wanted, as long as they were of age. Now, one of them asked me if they could look on MySpace, because that came out at a time and I was so mad. If they could look for the person, because they knew her name. And because he had a sister that he already knew who ended up living with her paternal grandmother, I told him that I would help him, and yes, he could look if he wanted to, but I would be the one making contact, not him, until we got through the initial awkwardness, and then he could carry on if he wanted to, if they were safe to be around. So, you know, it worked out for us, but you know, you have to not allow people to talk to you like you're not a leg of this wheel. Adoption is always a triad, always. There are biological parents, there are adoptive parents, and there are adoptees. No triangle works without all three sides. So, nobody should get to tell you that you're anything but an equal in the whole situation. And whatever decisions need to be good for everybody. So if they don't offer that, you have to insist on it. That's the way it goes, guys. Well, I've been talking your ear off now for more than an hour. So thank you all for hanging out and talking about everything purple. I will be doing a wrap-up video. That'll be our next WIP and Chat. So stay tuned for the drawing of the winners. Congratulations, winners, whoever you would turn out to be. I think I have everybody's address that I need, so I will get out the prizes as soon as we know who they're going to go to. By the end of the week, I will get them ready to go, and then it's a matter of getting to the post office. But by the end of the week, they will be en route to you. So don't forget, sign up for the Dragon event if you haven't. Be on the lookout for the poll and what we're going to call that event, but Dragon event for next month. August, we're doing the Zodiac. Get all your Zodiac, get ready. Get your Zodiac stuff out so you'll be ready to go. And if you need to sign up still and you thought you had and you didn't hear your name earlier, let me know so I can get you on the list so you can participate with us. Okay, guys, I think that's everything I needed to tell you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, Dragonites. I always enjoy our time together. I wish we had more of it. I really do. Remember, always be a dragon. Spread your wings. Protect those you love. Have fiery passion. Stay strong, slay your fears, and always fly high, rise up, and soar. Remember, your inner dragon is there for you whenever you need it. You can share it with anyone who needs it from you. If you're having trouble getting it to activate, do a nice thing for somebody. Just a simple kindness, and you'll be surprised. Your dragon will be right there waiting for you. All right, guys, have a wonderful week. New subbies, thank you for tuning in and for subbing in. I really appreciate it. Welcome to the Diamonds and Stuff family. True blue subbies, oh, love all you guys. Thank you for constantly showing up in my comment section and watching the videos. You know I adore you. So, yeah, that will not change. All right, everybody. Have a great, 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 great week. Let your inner dragons show. Let everybody know that you are the stunning, absolute, magnificent visage of this most amazing mythical creature. Let them know that they're lucky to be you. They are lucky that you're in their presence. All right, Dragonites, I'm going to see you in the next one. Please don't forget to get your final picks to me 1 week from today by the 29th, and your picks for the dragon event on the 30th, and on the 1st we are going to hit the ground running. All right, guys, big hugs. Love all of you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye. All right, Dragonites, so Jared is going to pull some names for us for the 2 winners of the prizes for the Purple Haze event. So, okay, Jared, shake those names up really good. Now, and then you can draw 2 out. Don't look. Just draw 2. And the people that are in here are Cubic Z Painter, Sedona LeBlanc, Diamond Painting with Jack, Sugar Ray Crafts, Kathy Reynolds, Margie Grice, Trisha Richard, Roxanne Samuscott, Kayla Zuniga, Crafty Chef Diamond, Mike Weeks, Master of Jedi, True Vampire Crafts, and Robbie Zink. You are all in there. Okay, did you draw 2?
I did.
Okay, what's the first one say? Oops, there we go.
Well, the first letters are S-E-D.
Okay, so is that Sedona LeBlanc?
Yes.
Okay, congratulations, Sedona. You are the first prize winner. All right, and who else did you grab?
Crafty Chef Diamond.
And Crafty Chef Diamond, awesome. Crafty Chef Diamond, Laura, you are winner number 2. Thank you, Jared, for your help. We appreciate it.
Sure thing.
Have a great rest of your day, Dragonites, and congratulations, Sedona and Crafty Chef. Bye-bye.